Hello and welcome to the Daily Templar Report with my good self, Jim Dowson, your guest presenter. Now I better just turn my phone off because I've just suddenly rushed in here and I've not moved the ladders either, but I'm still mucking about there. So sorry about that. Yes, okay. How are yous one and all? And I hope yous are all doing well and the Lord is blessing you richly in all ways, especially in your health, because your health is very important, as I've found out very recently. Let's have a wee bit of scripture reading here. Again, we're in Proverbs, this time chapter 26, and I'm going to read from verse 20. Where no wood is, the fire goeth out. So where there is no table bearer, the strife ceases. What does that mean? Well, if there's no wood in a fire, it goes out. And if there's no table bearer, that's somebody wonders about a table, and they always used to get the blame of gossiping. So they would go around the table, serve you, and listen to what you're saying, then go to somebody else and he said this about you. So if there's no table bearer, if there's no gossip, the strife also ends. Isn't that the truth? So if you've no gossipy person around about you, you will find your life has much less strife and aggravation in it. And I don't think I need to tell everybody that. We know that from our own personal experiences, don't we? I'm sure of it. I know the Lord will add his blessings to this, the public reading of his infallible, inspired and inerrant word. Amen. Okay, folks, let's have a wee look and see where we are today. Mr. Griffin's on Monday, so I'm on today. I've took away my book with that one, don't know where we are. Oh, Mr. Griffin's looking at a full moon. Right, we'll get up there. Andy McBride, how you doing, Andy? God bless you. Colette Whitney, Ewan Eggerstrom. Henrik Johansson, good evening. Philip Milne, how you doing from Scotland? Sean Smiley, Mr. Rebello. Niles R, God bless you. How you doing? Christopher Strid. Miss Sherry B, how are you? Malcolm Cook, Ralph Raleigh, Scott Rash. Lady Rotha, I seen Malcolm Cook, didn't I? Jacob Lewis. Stuart Duncan, how you doing, Stuart? Bartley Burker, God bless you. Darling stuff, how you doing? Nice to see you. Brian Payton, Michael McGuffin, Sean Ahern, the big Donegal man's in. Sam S. Now he's saying that Shanana Bagan's not coming back. No. Oh, I've seen it, but it's not what it means. So I mean, you need to read things very carefully. The High Court or the Supreme Court has overturned the ruling of the appeals court or whatever, and said they couldn't take that her right to fairness into consideration or take precedence over people's safety. That's irrelevant. She still has every right to appeal, and she will be back. I'm telling you, she'll be back because she is a British citizen. She was born here, so she's still got leave to take that further. And why wouldn't she? You cannot ban a citizen from returning to their own home. You cannot do it. So what we're seeing here is a bit of politics. We're seeing a wee bit of politics to keep the masses happy, to keep the people who don't really understand it, keep them happy and think the Tories are doing such a wonderful job of keeping hardliners out of the country, when the country is actually filled with real jihadis. I think Jada Franson reported one guy the other day with a bright orange beard. He's wandering about. He's wanted for murder. He's wanted for attempted assassination of the president of Israel a few years ago, president of Egypt. He's wandering about here, and hundreds, if not thousands, of other jihadis who have been convicted abroad and then came to Britain, and they weren't born here. They're here. So this is a woman who was born in Britain. She's a British citizen. So if you honestly think that you can keep a British citizen out of their own country, you're sadly mistaken. This is a political piece of theatre to entertain the masses, and everybody thinks it's a great victory. And in a year's time, when she does get back, nobody will remember it, and the Tories will be patted in the back. But you can't do it. So it's a ruling. It's one court ruling that another court was wrong in the decision they made on how they made it. And that's the thing. You've got to watch the detail of the stories whenever you see a story. Read it carefully and try and understand it. So it's one court saying another court was wrong, basing their decision on a particular aspect, and that aspect was a fair hearing. And this new court said, no, a fair hearing does not take precedence over the safety of the public. But I have never, in my life, ever heard of a citizen of a country, born there, being banned. Now, there might be a wee bit of jiggery pokery there because she's got dual citizenship. She's got British citizenship. She also took out citizenship of Pakistan or Bangladesh, whatever it was. I don't know. So they might be able to go down that road eventually to stop her going back because she's got somewhere else to go. But it's dead easy. If that country revokes her citizenship, she's coming back here. Whether the court likes it or they don't like it, she'll be back. But if she's still got a citizenship of that other country, they might be able to keep her out on that particular ground because she's got somewhere else to go. So there we go. So just always be careful when you hear of these things. So be very, very careful. These stories are designed for the unthinking masses who just see a headline and take it as read. You're dealing with the media here. You're dealing with politicians. Be careful with them. They don't tell the truth. I don't know if you know that, but they don't tell the truth. So be careful. But I hope she's not back. I hope she rots wherever she is, but I just have a feeling she might well be. So here we go. What we're waiting to, what we're looking for here. John Van Aitken, Troy Otto, Sierra. What was that? Sierra Era. Sierra Era. Hello, how you doing? Yeah, Troy Otto's there. Paul Telford, Sonny Liverpool, Benny Doc, Collett, Whitney. Yep. Mick Griffin's watching a lovely full moon. Yeah, he's looking at a full moon. Oh, it's incredible. I've never seen the moon here, so I'll have to go and have a wee look at it. Yeah. A guest presenter, a main presenter. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? People haven't been a guest for a long time. I'll tell you why we do that. We don't really want to expose our people to the aggro that I get. And the minute the Reds and the lefties and the Liberals and the establishment see another face, bosh, they're on them like a rash. And the poor people get all sorts of aggravation that they've got to try and deal with. It's terrible. Scroll down a wee bit, brother, see who else is there. Scorpion, I've seen Scorpion, God bless you, sir. Gary Hardwick, Peter Smith, yes. Marsha Mack, good, we've been in the XL, good. Joseph Taylor, message gone. Sam J, Sajid Javid, there's another one. Burt Myers, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hill, thoughts on patriotic alternative? I think, I don't know who Hill is. If you, and I don't know who you are, we like to use our real names in here if we possibly can, but I think my views on Patriot Alternative are very well known, although I did praise them the other day for their homeschool curriculum thing. I did give them a bit of praise for that, but I said the guns about for them. Now they've been kicked off of Facebook as an organisation, as personalities and individually. They had the payment processing struck, and they've been kicked off all these YouTube channels and that. We've had all that. We've had that time and time. We had that 10 years ago. So we know what's coming there. So they're obviously after them. But I just don't think that model, which is an internet online model, with a load of pencil neck Nietzschean sort of, soy boys, I don't really think it's going to do much. But fair play. I think the school curriculum's brilliant. I think what Mr. Collett's trying to do has got some merit. But from my point of view, it's come from the wrong angle because it's very Nietzschean and it's all very man-centred rather than God-centred. And if it's not God-centred, my opinion, it will not work. And I think we've tried these things till we're blue in the face. They just won't work. That's my opinion. But, fair play to them for the school curriculum and some other stuff. But that's about it. Call it Whitney, yep. Andrew McBride, they're trying to even, yep. Third generation, so this is quite like, can't be appealed, yep. Oh, that's right. The thing is, another misconception we've got in Britain is because we've now left the EU, we're not subject to the EU Supreme Court. Yes, we are. Yep, we still are. That's part of the deal. We still are. So, once she's exhausted every avenue, she'll go to that European Supreme Court and, you know what will happen then. So, Angela writes in, how you doing? Nice to see you. Lovely stuff. I think that's us with the comments. Well done, everybody. God bless you all. I hope you're feeling well. It's Friday. You've got the weekend. No rest for us, of course, because we're still in here doing stuff with the crypto and doing all that. It's very, very busy. Marsha Mack said I don't mind call it, but playing video games isn't exactly making them look serious. Well, I think that's a fair comment. I think that's very fair comment. What's video games got to do with the price of butter? And if you, for example, I know other groups who have offered, basically free accommodation and free courses in Eastern Europe to go and learn how to be a soldier, learn orienteering, hunting skills, firearms skills and all the rest of it. And they just could not get anybody interested in England to go. But if you say you want to play World of Warfare, there's 5,000 pencil necks all signing up for it. If there's a revolution coming, we need people who have got actual skills, not online skills. Silliness. So that's my, the Bible says, when I was a child, I did the things of a child, but now I'm a man, I put away the childish things. And that's what you've got to do. Games, the hint is in the name. Games are for children. And the amount of women that I speak to who are on the verge of divorce because their fully grown man sits all day playing games, it's ludicrous. I don't understand it. I know I'm a different generation, But it's ludicrous, and something has to break. And women are just as bad, but they're sitting all day, bing, 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 on their phones, and they're even sitting at the dinner table in people's houses, each other's houses, their own house, just on phones all the time. It's not only psychologically warped, but it's rude. If you're dealing with people, you shouldn't be distracted with a phone. It's very, very rude. But I've seen, even in restaurants, a man and a woman sitting facing each other across the table. Hardly a word is exchanged. Both of them are on their phones with their thumbs. The only thing that's working is their thumbs. Now, I don't know whether they're texting each other. That seems to be rather preposterous. They could just speak to each other. But it happens. People are sitting texting each other. They're completely mad. This is a breakdown of the psychological profile of the human being, because it's not normal, and it's certainly not right. But it's happening, and I think we have to be very careful today. And I suggested recently to somebody, look, why don't you put your phone in a drawer and just look at it at 12, at 3, and then take it away with you at 6? And I thought I was going to have my face ripped off and worn as a mask. People just, look, I don't care who you are, how clever you are, how smart you are. You cannot do your work if you're constantly on your phone. It's not possible. I remember I told a guy once in this Priory, the young fella was on about with headphones on. I says, you cannot be working that machinery, because we've got machinery in here as well. I says, you cannot work machinery with headphones on, because you have to listen to the machine. You have to listen to how the machine sounds, because it could have a problem and you won't hear it, because you're listening to Tucker Carlson or whoever it was he was listening to at the time. Plus, your mind's not on it. Your mind's not on it. You went, don't talk rubbish. That guy, just every time he done that particular job where he had to do the machine, he got it wrong, I would say 4 times out of 5. Every time, because he wouldn't listen. I've said it to a few people. Some listen and they get it right. They don't listen. They just continue in that. So I think we have to be very, very careful of modern technology, because it's driving folk mad. This is why I've got this phone. Mate, I'll show you my phone. Look, that's my phone, folks. Look at it. Come out the ark. Doesn't do emails. Doesn't do Facebook. Doesn't do YouTube or any of these things. Doesn't do anything. People keep sending me videos. I can't watch them. So that's it. And I like it because it's a phone. Why do you have a phone? Hello? Yes, Jim Dowson here. What do you want? It's a phone. It's a phone. Now, I text people. I send people emails. I text people occasionally, but I tend to come into the office or at my house at night and I'll email people that I need to email. But I can't imagine what it'd be like, because I get hundreds of emails a day. If they were all come through in this phone and I was having to look, well, there's another one and there's another one, and I wouldn't get anything done, and I'd be stressed, because this would be distracting me from my actual work. So I think it's something that all Templar people and grown-ups should actually take on board this year. And we're at the beginning of the year. They should say, how can I cut down my usage on the phone? And people don't realise how deeply beguiled people are on this. It's only if you actually go and look, print your bill out one day. Just print your bill out and sit and look at how many texts you received and how many texts you sent. In a month it could run into thousands. I mean, literally thousands. That is nuts. That's crazy stuff. So be very careful. I think social media, it is, somebody's saying there, it's addictive. It is addictive. There's no doubt about it. I think all medical evidence now is showing that social media is actually addictive, and people have to be on their phones, they have to be on their Facebook, they have to be on their TikToks, whatever these other things are nowadays, I don't know. But they're constantly on them, and I think women certainly used to be the worst offenders, but men are getting just as bad now. There's no need for it. There's nothing so important happening that won't wait 2 hours. It's not possible. You know, I mean, you have 1 or 2 times in your life where an instant like that happens. So don't destroy 50 years of your life for 2 incidents that might happen over those 50 years. It's completely ludicrous. There you go. So what's Nick Griffin saying? There's nobody hiding up there. I don't know who's up there. Yeah, they're hiding up there. Yeah. Yeah, Angela. Yeah, well, that's it. Angela, right? Just bans me. Yeah. Well, this is the problem. Social media will always ban you. It's quite a serious thing now, because there's somebody there saying an interesting thing. That a big group was hiring people to make it.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm sure it to make it more addictive. Of course. Well, look at Coca-Cola. Do I have Coca-Cola in about here? No, I don't. I mean, at one time there used to be Coke and Coca-Cola, because if you can get your customers addicted to your product, your company's going to be very, very, very wealthy, aren't they? So if you can put Coke, actually, you know, the marching powder, the Colombian marching powder, in a soft drink and sell it, you're going to do well. Now, it's not in it anymore, obviously, But you would be absolutely over the moon. Now, there's somebody, Henrik Johansson, saying, I'm off Facebook and Twitter. I've been so for 6 months, tired of reading of the lefties. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's a personal story. The techie guy just reminded me. My son came off his social media and he said he's never been as productive, never been doing. He's a tradesman and he's never been as busy and doing as many jobs because he's off social media. I think it would scare us all if we sat down and actually counted up the minutes every day that's wasted. And let's face it, most folk contact you for the stupidest thing, or they're sending you daft videos all the time. That annoys me. See people that send me all these daft videos. I'm like, really? Are you joking? You know, I've got 4 kids, 10 grandkids. I work in this priory. I'm all over the world. I'm absolutely out my mind with work. And you're sending me a cat licking its own rump. Who cares? Send it to somebody who's not working. I'm too busy. So, right, that's enough of the ranting about the social media. But I want to show you something today. Well, we're getting more nutty stuff. I need to move these books. They're too close to me. What's going on? Right, what are we going to put up first, do you think? I think we'll put them up. What's his name again? Harry. And that woman, I'm not even going to say her name. I'm refusing to say her name. So here we are. Prince Harry, if he is a prince anymore, I don't think he is, and his wife, his American actress, LA, La La Land wife. Well, you know, the Queen stripped him all their titles and he went away to America to live, and he was at Biden's inauguration, seemingly. Interesting. But she's now stripped him of all his military titles. Oh, aye, the Queen. You don't mess with the Queen. You don't mess with Queenie. She's been straight into him and had a right go at him. His wife calls him Haz.
Yeah, it was on the James Corden show.
Haz. What does that mean?
Harry.
Harry. Oh, how quaint. Well, the Queen's get right into them because they're total lefties. But it's strange today because there's a big story. Did you get the headline? No. There's a big headline in today's paper and Harry's saying, the British media destroyed my mental health, that's why I left Britain. Really? Well, look, they say things about me. I mean, I get front page headlines quite regular and they're not very nice, they're very unpleasant. But they don't destroy my mental health. I think if your mental health is destroyed already, it's very easy to unsettle somebody by a bad headline or poking fun at you or something like that. But it certainly doesn't affect, it's never affected me. Nick Griffin has had terrible stuff wrote about him. I mean, unbelievable stuff. You just wouldn't believe the viciousness and the lies. Quite incredible, actually. But it doesn't make me unstable because, you know, it's the way it is. And I remember some time ago, let me give you a very good example of how hot, this is why I am the guest presenter. My daughter's mother-in-law came to me and said, can I have a word with you, please, Mr. Dowson? Very Christian woman, nice lady. And she came to me and said, can I have a word with you? I said, yeah, what is it? She went, I'm really shocked to read about you. I says, what is it? That you served time in prison for being a multiple rapist and paedophile. I says, really? When did this happen? She went, oh, I read it online. And I knew the blog she was talking about. It was put up by a guy called Barnes, who's a complete wacko, but he also works for the state. And he'd wrote this incredibly detailed, about 30-page diatribe. He's nuts. Not many people can do this. Of, you know, all these dates where I was convicted of this and that. I mean, obviously, just a sensible person Google it. It's not there. So, you know. But anyway, she'd came across this thing, and she said, well, if it's not true, why don't you sue him? Sue him? He lives in a council flat. He's not got a penny. Get somebody into High Court in England, hundreds of thousands, and he can get his mate to do it the next day. She said, why don't you get it taken down? I says, who do you complain to with these anonymous blogs? Who do you go and phone up and say, can you take that down? Who? I've tried. When I got somebody to send a letter in and all the rest of it, nothing happened. I said, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will go away now and write a blog, 30 pages about you being a witch and sacrificing babies and drinking blood and all the rest of it, and I'll put it up and you'll never get it down, and then people will come to you and say the same stupid things that you're saying to me now. And that's how bad it gets. And Mr. Griffin said the same. Anybody whose public profile is out there gets the same treatment. And some very clever people get behind this and they make things up that are shocking. I've got 2 or 3 videos up that I cannot get down. And again, utter nonsense from start to finish. Not a word of truth in any of them. But they're not particularly damaging. It's just, you know, nonsense. But this is the problem you have. And it's a problem that anybody with a public profile gets. And the first thing people always say is, well, why don't you sue them? Well, it costs you £100,000 to sue somebody. And if you're suing somebody with no money, that £100,000 gone. So first of all, I don't have £100,000 to pay a fancy lawyer and a sharp suit or a QC you need in this country because you go to the High Court. I mean, it's £15,000 a day. And I remember years ago, I did try and sue somebody because they were having a go at my family. And the lawyer said, I need £30,000 on account. And the first day we're in court, I need another £30,000 paid in. £60,000. And that's your first day in court. Who's got that kind of money? Come on. But anyway, most normal people understand it. You know, justice and law are two different things. And in the libel world, that's for rich people to protect their reputation. In the UK, we don't have that luxury. In Ireland, it's a bit different. Normal people can go to court and it's relatively cheap to sue people for slander and libel. But in the UK, it's not possible. And I'm sure Mr. Griffin, who's in here, will tell you the same thing. It's terrible. But anyway, as I was saying about Harry, Prince Harry and his American wife, the Queen's really get stuck into him and said, right, you want to be lefties, you want to do your stuff, do not tarnish the name of the royal family or the British Armed Forces. So she stripped him of all that and let him get on his way. Good stuff. Now, I want to bring you a far more serious, let me see, I'm just looking at the time here because I don't have a watch on today. We're okay. I want to show you a far more serious, you'll be shocked. We know the world's going bad, but you won't believe how bad it's got. Wait till you see what they've done now. Hit it, brother. Now, in Britain, we have a euphemism. The Brits will get it, but the Americans might not. What they've done is they've degendered. Who is it? Hasbro or Haribo? Who is it? Who is it? Hasbro. Some mob. They make toys and all that. They have degendered Mr. Potato Head. But in Britain, we would say if you're describing a male genitalia, it'll be a meat and two veg. Very rude. But anyway, Mr. Potato Head loses meat and two veg. They've now gendered them. Now they've done the same, to be fair, they've done the same with Mrs. Potato Head. She is now gender neutral as well. So we've got two potato heads living in a house together. No problem. And no doubt over the time they'll do something. Aye, the last time they mucked about with this toy was 1987 when they took his pipe away because it was encouraging children to smoke. So no doubt what we're in for in the future is Mr. Potato Head now becoming a trans and Mrs. Potato Head now becoming, what's that thing when you become, you find anything sexual?
Non-binary or something like that.
Non-animate objects and all that. So it'll be pansexual or something, or non-binary, or some other stuff. Oh, yeah, because you've got to get rid of the titles Mr. and Mrs. first. So they were Mr. and Mrs. one week. The next week, they're completely non-binary. They have no sexual identity at all. What a wonderful thing to teach your children. But you can see how this is going. I mean, this is Mr. Potato Head. What has Mr. Potato Head ever done to bother anybody? All right, he had a pipe at one time. Is that Mr. Potato Head? I mean, look at old Mr. Potato Head there. What harm has he done anybody? And look what they're doing to him. They've degendered the man. They've demasculined him. They have assaulted his person and his good lady wife. It's absolutely bonkers. Bonkers. It's crazy. So I think you should be outraged. Ken and Barbie. Oh no, I don't think they're about anymore, are they? Ken and Barbie, I want to see it. I don't think. Well, I think they've got multicoloured versions of Ken and Barbie now. Now, they were actually saying about Barbie the other day. They're now doing Barbie with multicoloured skin and various body types and body shapes. And they say they're doing well. I don't believe them. Because the advertising industry now is run by a load of lefty geeks who are coming out of university and they don't know anything about it. I learned marketing on the market stalls. I learned marketing on the street, and I learned marketing as a professional dealing with architects and selling, huge building projects to these kind of things. It's nonsense. Yeah. They'll have the detachable parts soon, but then again, that make them gender selective, so maybe no. But, this is happening all the time with this stuff. This is happening all the time. They're going absolutely mad, and you can see where they're pushing and pushing and pushing to pervert everything normal all the time. And people aspire to certain things in life. And when you get the dolls, they're normally quite shapely because this is an ideal version of a woman in Western society. In West Africa, it'll be a big fat thing. But that's the way it is. And, we all aspire to a certain thing in life, and their idea is to totally destroy that and confuse everybody. So you have no role models, you have nothing to aspire to. And I've got to say, they've been extremely successful in their assault, and just about everybody is doing this. And as I said earlier, these advertising companies are run by idiots and they're destroying the companies. I'll give you an example, a good example. Andrex. All the Brits will know Andrex. They might have another brand name for it in America, I don't know. But it's a toilet roll, toilet paper. We all know what that's for. We don't want to think about it. Well, I don't anyway. But their advert for that was a lovely wee fluffy puppy, Labrador puppy, golden Labrador pup, and it'd be running. And there was no, that was it. It was just a pup playing with the toilet roll, rolling itself up in it or unrolling the toilet roll. Lovely advert. Andrex, #1 brand in Britain. Other brands are available, of course. But recently they've come out with an advert which basically is focused in on people's rear ends, running upstairs, jogging, doing this. It's just dozens and dozens and dozens of people's anuses, obviously with trousers on and all that, shorts and whatever, but just focusing in on people's butts. And then they say Andrex toilet roll. Look, I know it sounds counterintuitive here, but bear with me, I'm a marketing guy. You associate toilet roll with butts, you ain't going to sell much because it's something we don't want to think about. We know about it, we don't want to think about it. You associate toilet roll with a fluffy puppy, everyone's good. And you can go in the supermarket, pick it up, and everybody thinks, oh, what nice little puppies. You get in something that's associated with excrement and butts, you're destroying your product. I'm telling you. Now, I'm sure whoever done it is a highly paid executive in an advertising company, but I'm telling you right now, they'll have green hair. You know what I mean? They'll be part of the rainbow gang, and they won't see anything wrong with that. But I'm telling you, it's utter stupidity in the extreme. What's that?
Mr. Hanky from South Park.
Oh, that's a wretched thing.
They do want him as a mascot.
Yeah, Mick Robinson's Jam used to have a gollywog guy, but you know this is the problem. These marketing people now, they're getting a degree in marketing from a university, which is filled to overflowing with green-haired 65-year-old professors who are as nutty as fruit bats and are mad communist cultural Marxists, and they're teaching these kids. These kids got a degree in marketing, they think they know what they're talking about. I'm telling you, Andrex will really be hurt with this, and these other things like Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato, they'll all be hurt with this. But nobody wants to admit it. It's absolutely crazy stuff. It's not good. Somebody said, I tried to wipe my bum with a puppy. Didn't work well. I'm not surprised. But we have to be careful. But these people are mad. And their madness now is beginning to infect wider society. I mean, it's taking over. It's not infecting it. It's taking over wider society. And we have to live in this society. So it's pretty damn frightening. But anyway, let me have a wee look at this again. This is the... Oh, to everybody in America, today I took them personally. Every single person in America who was waiting in the first book, they're gone. And sometimes it can take a couple of weeks to get there, but they're gone. I posted them personally. 11 sacks of these books. I'm exhausted. But I've took them up, so you'll get them very shortly. Let me see now. Okay. Let's have a wee look. Oh yes, and the other news today was, thank you Mr. Biden, he's just done an airstrike in Syria. I mean, I don't know what Western leaders think they're doing, just going about attacking other countries. But the problem is, they attacked the Hezbollah fighters, the Iranian-backed fighters, who are the only people that kept Christians alive in Syria when America and Britain were given field artillery, weapons and money to the so-called good terrorists, and Israel had field hospitals treating these people and bombing the same Shia militia positions. So last night America bombed the Shia positions and said it's because they've been attacking Americans. Well, I think there was a rocket or something fired at the American embassy in Baghdad, which is occupied territory. I mean, let's call a spade. I mean, listen, you know me, I'm gung-ho, you know. Semper Fi, hoorah, you know that. I'm 100% behind the military forces. It's not the boys' fault, they get sent there, you got to go. That's it. I'm talking about the political people who send these folk. We are in somebody else's country. Just think for a minute. I just want you to be sensible about this. So, you know, 500,000 Iraqis have pitched up in America. They've killed 5 or 6 million Americans. This is the scale. By the way, we did it. The British are involved in this. I'm talking about my own country as well. So between us, we have killed 6 or 7 million Americans, and now we've took over Washington, and we have a big embassy in the middle of Washington. As a patriot American, or if we'd done this to Britain, would you not be fighting back? Would you not be fighting back to get rid of these people? No? And remember, why did we attack Iraq in the first place, Britain and America? We attacked Iraq because of the Twin Towers, right? Just bear with me. Saudis done that. Our best friends, the ones that Britain and America keep selling weapons to and keep defending them, even though they chop up journalists in their embassy in Turkey. They're our friends. It was their citizens who took down the Twin Towers. Iraq had nothing to do with it. They hate each other's guts. Iraq's main enemy was Saddam Hussein. Saudi Arabia's main enemy was Saddam Hussein. And we helped the Saudis out by getting rid of Saddam Hussein. So this is all nonsense. It's utter nonsense. We shouldn't have been there in the first place. We shouldn't be there now. We're occupying somebody else's country. Patriots have a duty to remove invaders from their country, as you have, as I have. We shouldn't be there. And if we weren't there, we wouldn't be getting attacked. It sounds relatively simple. Now, that's not detracting at all from the US Marines, the British forces, the other people from Europe who are there. They get told what to do, they have to do it. It's as simple as that. So no harm to the soldiers. God bless them. And the amount of lives has been lost there is awful. But we really need to put pressure on the politicians. Why are we there? Why are we in those countries? We need to move out and let these people deal with their own problems. Too many Americans, too many British sons have died or come home in body bags because of other people's wars. There's times when you have to go to war, like with a Hitler boil or a Kaiser or whatever, and even they're dubious and questionable sometimes. But you know what I mean? If there's a big conflagration and it could threaten your country, but let me tell you, Iraq or Iran's never going to invade America, never mind invade Britain. So we have to be real about this. The politicians are sponsored and financed by the huge companies who make armaments. That's a fact. So it's the the industrial military complex. They do fund all the politicians to the tune of billions, not millions, billions. So if they get their pals into power, please give us a war so we can make some more money. And if you don't give us that, well, you won't get any money for your next campaign. If you give us a nice war, we'll give you even more money. And that's what happens. And I don't want to sound cynical, but that's what they do. But it's our sons that come back in body bags or come back in wheelchairs. I'm not anti-war. No way. But I'm fed up with our kids, being manipulated and losing their life or losing their health physically and mentally, fighting wars that do not concern us and are of no earthly good whatsoever. Well, you know, British Parliament has 650 members. I don't think there's one MP with a son or a daughter served in the military. But they're the ones that keep shouting for war. When I see the MPs or the congressmen and all these people in Capitol Hill or Westminster in London, when I see them pulling their son out of bed and putting a uniform on and sending them to Iraq, then they might have my ear for a moment or two. But they don't. It's your son. It's my son. It's not fair and it's not good and it's not right. And it's immoral. It's immoral going about invading other people's countries. It's not good enough. We have to stop it. So that's it. I'll just read you a wee bit out of that before we get off. And see where I've took my other book away with my bookmarks in it, so I'm a wee bit hesitant now where to go. But I think there's a good thing here saying we need the English. There's a chapter in here saying we need the English. So read a wee bit of that. Why not? We need the English. We do need the English. We need the Americans. We need everybody. We need the English. It's on page 215. I tried in an earlier essay to give you a picture of the special sense of belonging which the British tribes in Ulster have kept while our mainland cousins have largely lost their identity and their way. Now I want to give you an idea of how this translates into practical organisation and power to defend what was built by our ancestors, belongs to us and will be inherited by our children. First, however, it's absolutely vital clarification. I am not proposing the English should learn from the conflict in Ulster with a view of endorsing and encouraging violence. Let me assure you, brothers and sisters, I have had more than a bellyful of violence. But what breeds violence? The main culprits are injustice, desperation, and violence itself. What produces injustice and desperation? Nothing more effectively than discrimination, oppression, and violence against a community that lacks the cohesion and confidence and experience to organise, to secure its rights, and to deter those who would oppress or attack it, and to deny its people their rights. This is not an empty theory. The relentless abuse of the disorganised and rootless English, and this could be, you could swap English for American here. The English majority has already produced, as a reaction to the brutal nihilistic terror of the Soho nail bomber David Copeland and Thomas Mayer, the killer of Joe Cox, MP Joe Cox. A generation earlier, we saw the same desperation act as powerful recruiting sergeant for the terrorist IRA. When I look at the marginalisation of the English, together with the increasingly heavy-handed repression of their discontent by a totalitarian liberal elite, I see a community that, left in the same state of disorganisation and demoralisation, is a prime breeding ground for terrorism. A little further down the line, I see the same thing happening in the USA as the dispossession of white America picks up speed and intensity. Like it or not, Britain is now a multicultural society. Nothing can undo what has been done. And all the multicultural societies by their very nature contain different and often mutually hostile groups. Among those groups, despite their dispossession and current weakness and even the demographics, the balance shift against them, the English will remain the largest minority for generations to come. That means that the only people who can wield any real community power to keep the peace in the UK mainland are the English. Likewise, as the original, in the modern historical terms, inhabitants and main host culture, the English also have a moral and psychological status necessary to press the more recent arrivals to adjust and get along, whatever their disagreement and rivalries in their old homelands. At the same time, it is clear that only strong Christianity can check both corrosive liberalism and hysterical aggression against Salafism. In arguing that the English to step forward and organise around their collective identity and Christian heritage, I am not therefore suggesting something that will destabilise the multicultural society. Rather, I am advocating the establishment of the only force that can possibly stop its otherwise completely inevitable descent into mayhem, hatred and violence. We'll end there on page 217. What a wonderful part of the book, and I think it's extremely well written and very timely. I cooperated, I think, a bit in that chapter, but many people wrote it, and I think the English have, just like the Americans now, they have an uphill struggle, but they are the only people who can save their own country. Nobody else can do it for them, and they have our full backing in this plight. And somebody asked me earlier, what do you think of these online groups? Well, that explains it. That explains it. We really need to be serious, and we need to have a Christian ethos, or else you'll be blown into Nietzscheism, you'll be blown into National Socialism, you'll be blown into whatever. So you need to have a Christian foundation to really start, maintain and expand a nationalist organisation based on decency, based on stand-up guys telling the truth and honesty and integrity. You won't get that anywhere else. We've tried it, it didn't work. Well, that's all me. That's all from me today. Remember, it's 7. I don't know what time it is because my thing's away and that clock's busted. We have Jada Franson should be on her British Freedom Party report. Niall McConnell shall be on the Irish Patriot Party, Sean Ahern. So pay your money, take your choice. And all these people are working what they can do to try and make a difference in their countries. There are not too many people doing it. So, fair play and credit, and people should support those who are prepared to stick their necks on the line. Because again, not too many folk like it. People talk a good game, but it actually comes to it, different story. So that's all from me. I will see you again if the good Lord spares me on Sunday with the Sunday service. Please invite your friends in, and we shall worship and praise the Lord together in truth and in love and in the Spirit. Yes, and you don't have to be talking in tongues and jumping up and down to be in the Spirit. When you come before this book and you pray, you're in the Spirit. So we'll do that on Sunday, God willing. But until then, remember, I want to say God bless everyone. Have a nice weekend. But remember, until we meet again on Sunday, DV, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Do as vault.